Hello, and welcome to the November edition of the Redwood Real Estate Report. I'm Ben Larson with Larson Home Loans.
And I'm Annalise von Borstel with Hyperion Humboldt Realty.
All right, well, here we are again, a new month, and it's been a lot going on. Rates have been coming down. We'll get into that more. This will be an exciting episode of the Redwood Real Estate Report as we move into winter here, but we've had a lot of activity kind of in what we're approaching to be the off season for real estate typically.
Yeah, we're really getting a full picture of what the year has looked like now as we're approaching the last months.
Yeah, that's right. So again, you can catch us on YouTube, Podbean. You'll see links to it on our social medias, Larson Home Loans, or Ben Larson Home Loans on Facebook, and the Ben Larson Show on YouTube.
And
Annalise.
yep, it'll be on my website, HyperionHumboldt.com, and it'll go out in our monthly mailer, the Redwood Real Estate Report. So keep your eye out for that. And if you're interested in getting on that newsletter, just shoot us a message or leave a comment and we'll make sure to get you added.
All right, and with that, into our keys of the month.
So in Humboldt, the absorption rate has continued to decline for the fourth month in a row, following what was a steady increase throughout the first half of the year. So we're back into the 5 to 6 month range, indicating that we're in a more balanced market between supply and demand. In fact, new listings are down just about 5% from last October, while sold listings are up over 11% from last October. So that's obviously contributing to being in a more balanced market. Year-to-date figures are still well-balanced with approximately 10.8% growth in new listings for the year and 10.5% growth in sold listings. Days on the market continued to climb for the fifth straight month. Average days on the market in October was 73. Comparing that with this year's low of 50, which was back in May, but still coming in below this year's high of 85 back in March. For some additional context, average days on the market last October was 71, so not far off. Median list price remains completely flat year to date at $450,000, which was the same as last month. And median sold price is down just about 1% year to date to $425,000. And so moving on to some highlights from our other communities before we get into the market shares. Eureka's absorption rate fell below 3.5 months for the first time since March. Number of listings sold has dropped to its lowest point since February this year. A typical decline as we head into the winter months, of course. In Arcata, the average days on the market soared
Wow.
to 104 days.
Wow.
That's the highest we've seen for at least a decade for a single month. I looked back over the years. But again, that's the average. So overall, the absorption rate is still down, and the median days on the market is just 57, which is still above Humboldt's median. But there's obviously some outliers that are driving up the average days on the market as
Yeah,
opposed to
I
the
was going to say
median.
Arcata usually has a very limited number of listings. So I'm
Very.
guessing just a few outliers could really throw that number off.
Certainly. Yeah, we've talked about that before. And this month is definitely no exception for Arcata. Very, very small sample size. McKinleyville had the highest number of listings sold in a single month this year, and their absorption rate has been declining since July and are at just 3 months worth of inventory, which is the lowest it's been since March of this year. On to Fortuna. Active listings fell nearly 30% compared with last October, and the absorption rate followed, dropping for a second month in a row down to 3.21 months, which is the lowest it's been since February this year as well. So now for everyone's favorite segment, market share. In all of Humboldt for October, there were 108 sales with a median sold price of $409,000. So as expected, Eureka came in with the highest market share, but not by much, with 23 sales or 21.3% of the market share and a median sold price of just $380,000, which is nearly as low as it's been all year. McKinleyville follows closely behind with 22 sales, so 20.4% of the market share, and a median sold price of $442,500. Fortuna, with 12 sales, had 11% of the market share and a median sold price of $456,250. And finally, Arcata came in with just 4 sales in the month of October, so 3.7% of market share and a median sold price of $437,500. So those are my keys of the month.
All right. Well,
What
thank you
about
so
you?
much, Annalise, running through the stats there for
Well,
us.
I'm
Just
really
some
excited.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about the interest rates because, I mean, the last couple months there's actually been some movement where this year
Yeah.
it seems like it's
Well,
been a slog.
we finally started to see some easing from the Fed, which helps. Lenders do anticipate that, so you don't really see a big drop right when it happens, but it's a sign that things are moving in the right direction. So we continued on that trend, through October. So first, I'm just going to hit interest rates right off the bat. So for the month of September, we had a range of 6.26 to 6.35 throughout the course of the month. We had a monthly average of 6.3%. We compare that to our monthly average for the month of October at 6.24. So we are seeing a decline from month to month. The high for the month of September was 6.35 on September 11th. The low was 6.26 on September 18th. And then we go to October. Our low of the month, or our high of the month, was on October 2nd at 6.34. And the low of the month was October 30th at 6.17. So again, we see the low of the month at the end of the month. That's a good sign. We're moving forward, and it's continued into November. So we're continuing to see those rates hold down low. We have not seen them creep back up. So I think a gradual easing of interest rates is, as we move into the final quarter of 2025.
I'll take
So
it.
that's exciting. We're getting into that territory now with rates where if you got a loan 2 years ago in the 1 to 2 year ago range, there could be an opportunity for you to look into refinancing and save some money. So we're just starting to get into that market now. Some people pulled the trigger a little earlier if you're in the high mid sevens or something like that and got in at 6.5. But now we're in the low sixes. Really start to look at refinancing those loans up in the sevens. It could save you a few $100s a month. So just to kind of summarize rates here, they continued to decline through October. The average 30-year rate eased from 6.3 to 6.24 from September to October. The highest rate was 6.35. The lowest rate, 6.17 at the end of October. Good trend. So this just shows that we're a declining interest rate trend heading into the fourth quarter of 2025. So there's my mortgage interest rate month over month comparison. I got some interesting underwriting updates. I've seen it from multiple sources. Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae have posted these on their websites. There's a few different mortgage podcasts I listen to that they've talked about this, that there's a call within the industry. Many lenders are requesting that their underwriters do a more in-depth analysis of debt to income ratios. So the guidelines haven't changed. They're just asking for a tightening of their review process. So to me, because they haven't changed guidelines, it's really just an emphasis on having a lender that you work with and that knows the guidelines and can set you up in the front end of a transaction really well. If you go into a transaction sloppy, missing documents, miscalculated debt to income ratios, things like that, not having all the proper documentation for your income, those types of things are going to cause problems in underwriting now. Whereas before things may have been a little more loose, it's an industry-wide call to tighten up underwriting analysis of income. Just something to be aware of. Some upcoming changes to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that kind of piggyback with that underwriting change that's coming or that's here now is that they're changing how they handle delinquencies, forbearances, and just general negative credit outcomes in the mortgage industry. So they're just kind of, again, that's an emphasis on avoiding negative outcomes on mortgages. So it's a precaution. Again, there's no real changes, but just the fact that they're drawing all this attention to underwriting standards and delinquencies and forbearances on mortgages, it's a sign that there's maybe some nerves in the lending and the secondary market world. So they're tightening up their act a little bit. We'll say that. So with that, and those are of course on QM type mortgages, qualified mortgages, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all the government programs, your conventional. There are some alternative lending options, and that's my third key of the month, is for investment buyers especially, I want to draw attention to DSCR loans. If you own investment property and haven't ever explored DSCR loans, it's a great time to do that. I'll give you a quick rundown. Basically, a DSCR loan is a debt service coverage ratio. So if you have a 1.25 to 1 ratio on an investment property, you can get a loan on that property without your personal income even coming into play.
Interesting.
No taxes, no pay stubs, no anything. So to give you a real simple math number, if you have $1,000 or for every $1,000 of a mortgage payment, you would need about $1,250 of rental income. You can get DSCR loans down to a 1-to-1 ratio. You're just going to get a little bit higher interest rate. Might have to put a little bit more down, like 5 or 10% more down. But it is possible even at a 1-to-1 ratio.
Is that applicable to even single family residences?
Yep.
Wow.
Single family all the way up through, I have lenders that'll go up to 10 units. So that's single family all the way up to 10 units. Of course, the more units, they want to see probably some history that you've managed a rental in the past, stuff like that. But those are a great option. I've done a couple of them in the last few months. I've found a really good lender that is giving really, really good interest rates. Better actually than some conventional investment interest rates that I've found.
And would that just require a 12-month lease for the rental?
So they'll go by, if you're purchasing the property, they'll go by the lesser of an existing lease or the fair market rents from the appraiser. And that's what you would go by if you're purchasing it. Now, if you want to do a refinance, you can do cash out, you can do rate and term. It's going to go by your existing lease, and you have to show 2 months receipt of that income.
Okay.
That's it. So if you've received that lease amount for 2 months, you can get a DSCR loan using those numbers. They're really good options when it fits. It can be even better than conventional in a lot of situations.
As far as interest rate?
Yeah.
Oh.
Some of those, even on investments, I've done them in the last month, under 7%. So,
Okay.
yeah. So the rates are coming down. And again, I think it's a sign that these lenders see they're being aggressive. They see rates continuing to come down. So if they give you a better rate now, you're less likely to refinance faster. They want these loans on their books for 5 years so they can show some profit on them. So they're being aggressive right now. Again, rates that low on an investment DSCR loan. I mean, if you would have looked at a year and a half ago, that probably would have been in the 8% range. So that's a significant.
It's very attractive.
All right. Well, those are my keys of the month.
Those were great. Thanks, Ben. All right. Well, how about we talk about some stuff going on in the community?
Yeah,
I have a couple things.
I have a big list. So
You do
you go
have
ahead
something.
you go ahead and hit it.
This is a busy time of year, so I chose not to do a full long list. There is just a couple events that I really wanted to highlight. One of those is the Taste of the Holidays, which is sponsored by the Rotary Club of Arcata Sunrise, and that's going to be Thursday, November 20th in the evening at Arcata Community Center. If you haven't been before, Taste of the Holidays is a showcase of all of our best local caterers and restaurants who come out to provide small bites. There's lovely beverages to go along with that, and a great opportunity to mingle with friends and connect with new folks. And then the other event is actually happening early in December, the Humboldt Artisans Festival. We have a lot of great local artisan festivals and fairs around this time of year, but in my opinion, the Humboldt Artisans Festival is the absolute best. It's massive. They take over Redwood Acres. These are all artisans, so handmade pieces, specialized, custom. I always get a ton of Christmas and holiday presents there, and I usually find a few things for myself as well. And that's the first weekend of December, December 5th, 6th, and 7th. So if you're planning on going out to the Humboldt Artisans Festival, you're almost guaranteed to run into me. So I'll look forward to seeing you there.
And that was the Humboldt Artisan Festival?
Yeah.
First week of December, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
5th, it's Friday the 5th, 6th, and 7th.
So a good time to get a jump on your holiday shopping as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the best. All year, this is my favorite festival or artisans fair. We have a lot of good ones, but this one's great.
All right. I'll hit a few. November 8th is the Humboldt Bay Maritime Museum open house out in Samoa. They have history exhibits and kid activities. Not sure, but hopefully like a bounce house or something fun like that. If you're looking for something to do on your Friday nights, because Friday night markets have come to a close now with approaching the winter months, there is Friday night live music at Fieldbrook Winery starting at 6 p.m. and that's November 14th. November 15th, to go hand with the craft fair you were talking about, is the Fall Craft Fair and Maker Market at Redwood Acres. That's also a really fun event, a great opportunity to, get some early shopping done for the holidays. It's a pretty fun event. They have stuff for kids and things like that as well. The Friends of the Dune Nature Walk is November 23rd at 10 a.m. That's pretty fun out at the Manila Dunes Recreation Area. The Turkey Trot
Oh, yes.
coming up in Arcata. So that's November 27th. That's a thing that a lot of people, visitors from out of town, in town for the holidays, they go and do the turkey trot. People
Earn your
dress up,
turkey. Earn your
yeah,
turkey.
dress up, and have a good time and yeah,
That's
burn
just
off
a,
burn
it's a
off some
5K,
calories.
right?
It's a short, yeah, it's a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually serve beer at the starting line, so it's it's a good time. It's a vacation week. And then the Redwood Coast Holiday Lighting Kickoff in Ferndale. That's November 30th at 5 p.m. So that's another big one. A lot of stuff coming up towards, this Thanksgiving week, and in the local community, people, it's time to get excited for the holidays and bring some cheer.
Yeah, we always have a lot going on in the community, but this time of year especially. If we didn't name an event or activity that you love to do during the holidays, please share that with us and put it in the comments so the rest of the community hear about it.
All right. You have a listing of the month for us,
I
Annalise?
do. I have a very interesting featured listing of the month. It's 1480 Myrtle Avenue here in Eureka. This is actually a combo commercial residential property. It's on 0.17 acres on Myrtle Avenue, just between McFarland and Dean Street when you're heading up the hill towards Harrison. And it's 4,000 square feet, 2 commercial units on the bottom, and then 1 residential 4-bed, 1 bath upstairs. So that's listed at 450,000. While this home is a historic structure, being that it was built in 1879, and it still has a lot of those beautiful original moldings and embellishments on the exterior. This property is not on the historic registry. So if somebody has a love of Victorians and really wants to polish this one up, they have fewer hoops to jump through as a lot of the folks who purchase Victorians that are on the historic registry. But there are benefits that come to that with that as well. But please reach out if you're curious about the property, if you have questions. It's principally permitted for a number of different types of businesses. In the past, it's been a card shop, an antique shop, a hair salon. It's currently a massage parlor. So there's a lot of possibilities for this property. And there's a lot of new housing happening just 2 blocks away. Several units are going in. So the market is growing. Great opportunity. 1480 Myrtle Avenue, 450,000.
All right. Well, thank you so much. A commercial listing. Love it.
Commercial residential.
All right. Sounds great. Again, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Ben Larson with Larson Home Loans. This is the Redwood Real Estate Report for November.
And I'm Annalise von Borstel with Hyperion Humboldt Realty, helping you root and rise.
All right. Check us out on YouTube. Like and subscribe, get all our latest content. And thank you so much for joining us.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.